Two women Southward African environmental activists work for little NGOs take on the Southward African by the government and winner a legislative problem. How stopped a $76 trillion buck nuke transactions in Russia. The very coveted Goldman Award is decorated every year to 6 human beings of 6 various continents who take, supported, and considerable efforts to defend and increase the nature environmental, frequently at large private hazard. The activists disputed the offered nuke transactions in trial on the perspectives how talks were stored open secret and an treaty was achieved out of parliament discussion in Southward Africa. The governing as well set out how all nuke proposals in Southward Africa must get a public listening and parliament adoption. Woman militancy suing the Southward African by the government was the recent item on their minds while the couple stumbled on the open secret transactions in 2014. But by the government's unwillingness to reply questions constrained Lekalakala and McDade to get the instance to trial. We fair had to get a various path, Lekalakala says. For nearly 2 years, Lekalakala and McDade detained social protests, driven some ecological lobbyists in their stack and raised a powerful campaigning strength of generally female were capable to know really rapidly the connection among possessing not quite cash order now at a domestic standard to buy power and the issue of possessing though more than costly power if the nuke transactions went via, McDade says. It was in fact rather confirming how human beings were recognition the part how female could act in such a campaigning. Slight cash was grown since human beings were proverb the is dangerous, no requested to be related to possessing backed the trial instance, Lekalakala told they found a attorney, Adrian Polar, who coordinated to get the instance on pro bono, purchase them versus by the government's attempts to kiosk the instance. This by the government, they tested to carry us out and hoped how we run out of cash for the lawyers, McDade told. In each move of the legislative trial they would ask for a latency. Denials. The ecological activists say they were warned to the transactions while Ecodefense, a Russki ecological organization, spotty detailed information of the schedule on Rosatom's website. Southward Africa's by the government rejected expertise of the transactions while confronted and on paper on the treaty was undertaken off the Russki subcontractor's website, Lekalakala says. How said us how down there was thing fish departure at. Avarice of a few lot countries include cut behind nuke programmed following the 2011 calamity in Fukushima. Southward Africa is one of the few how believe such a projects in its power mix in spite the ecological and public health effect it poses to residents in areas wherever nuke stations are arranged. So the is not on power but the way how the processes include been manipulated and twisted so it benefits a few, McDade says. It was on the avarice of a few individuals. The treaty, that she claims, had been agreed out of a competition bid trial as well delivered severe threats to Southward Africa's economics. This offered budgeting for the one draft is counterpart to the nation's yearly budgeting, McDade says. Thou can think we don't include how cash, so we include to adopt he. McDade's second opposition to the offered draft was the capacity for poor management. Nuke power love any some big draft gets detained, he's lightweight for cash to vanish on the path, she says. How's cash how could be departure in the growth of human beings in the nation? New trial battles front the struggle is not above for the activists, yet. In spite the governing, both of female go on to struggle attempts to revive further deals how could endanger Southward Africa's environmental. We are type of both of aware how it never seems to dead, it fair seems to go off for a time and later resurrects himself, says McDade. Ours part is to hold work along in communities and get them on in the struggle, Lekalakala adds. They include been inviting on the Southward African by the government to shut Koeberg, the nation's just nuke force plant above concerns on its calamity control plans. Mainly the trial instance hit the discharge key, McDade says. Down there's an prospect now in the changing of CEO. We don't see the special mode quick monitoring nuke but the anxiety is the force of the bureaucrats to impact the policy will of the by the government and potential compelling them how down there is yet a area for nuke.